The morning sun glinted off the steel gates of the police canine training facility as volunteers and officers gathered for another routine session. Among them stood a quiet man named Elias, a middle-aged volunteer with kind eyes and a gentle demeanor. He had been coming to the facility for over a year now, helping with simulations and exercises. No one knew much about him, only that he always showed up, never asked for anything, and had an unusual calmness around dogs. But that day, something went wrong. Horribly wrong. As the lead canine, a large German shepherd named Bruno, was released to demonstrate a standard controlled takedown, he lunged not with obedience, but with ferocity. Not towards the training sleeve, but toward Elias's chest. Chaos erupted. Officers screamed commands. The dog growled, digging at Elias's shirt, barking wildly, as if trying to rip something apart. It was no ordinary attack. Bruno wasn't trying to hurt Elias, he was trying to reveal something. Seconds later, as Elias collapsed to the ground, gasping and shaking, everyone saw it. Something that would shake the entire precinct to its core, because what the dog had sensed wasn't fear, nor aggression, but terror hidden inside a secret buried for decades. Backhand index pointing right before we go deeper into this unbelievable journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, or the unbreakable loyalty of animals, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts below, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. Your support helps us share more powerful stories like this one. Paw prints. Elias had always been a mystery, but not in a threatening way. He was quiet, respectful, and always the first to volunteer for the toughest drills, even allowing the more aggressive dogs to practice intimidation techniques on him. Officers respected him, even if they didn't understand him. He had a gentle touch with the animals that no one could quite explain. Many dogs that were previously labeled difficult or unstable often became calmer when Elias was around. Bruno, the department's most advanced canine, had taken a special liking to him. But that morning, something had shifted. As the medics rushed in, Elias lay still but conscious. Blood had started to soak his shirt, not from the dog's bite, but from where Bruno had clawed and torn at a thick, strange-looking patch beneath Elias's ribs. When officers peeled the fabric back, what they discovered silenced the entire training yard. A long, crude scar, fresh but healing, and under it, remnants of old, rusted chains embedded in his skin, small links of metal that looked fused to his body like something out of a horror film. The moment Bruno had sniffed that area, he had gone berserk, not to attack Elias, but to free him. To tell the others something was wrong. That day, Elias was taken not to jail, but to a hospital. As doctors examined him and the embedded metal pieces, they asked the questions no one had ever dared to ask. Who was Elias? Why was he covered in marks and scars that looked like they came from another time, another world? Elias stayed silent until Bruno came into the hospital room. Bruno had been restless ever since the attack. He refused to eat, whined constantly, and pawed at the door every time someone passed by. Finally, one of the handlers, Officer Ramirez, decided to bring Bruno to see Elias. The moment the dog entered the hospital room, something broke inside Elias. He reached out with trembling fingers, tears already in his eyes, and whispered, "You knew, didn't you? You knew I wasn't okay." That was the moment the story truly began. Elias, whose real name was Elijah Stroud, had vanished from the world 20 years ago. He had once been a promising veterinary student. But at age 22, while working on an animal welfare mission near a remote town, he had been kidnapped by a cult-like group that believed in breaking people to test obedience, just as one would break an animal. They believed suffering brought purity. Elijah had been kept in chains, forced to live in a kennel, beaten, starved, and made to behave like a dog for years. When he finally escaped, scarred and broken, he couldn't bring himself to return to society. Who would believe him? He had no ID, no family left, no records, he was a ghost. So he hid. He wandered for years, living under bridges, in shelters, working odd jobs. But the one thing that never left him was his connection to animals. Dogs, especially. He always said dogs didn't judge, they just felt. Eventually, he started volunteering where he could, quietly, never giving his full name, just Elias. But Bruno had changed everything. Police began investigating Elijah's past and found evidence that matched his story: missing person reports, old articles about a suspicious cult compound that had burned down shortly after Elijah escaped, and even a few other survivors who came forward after hearing the story in the news. But perhaps the most chilling moment was when forensic specialists confirmed that the metal embedded in Elijah's body had come from old dog collars, welded and bent into human restraints. The entire department was shaken. Officers who had once barked commands at Bruno now looked at him with awe. He hadn't disobeyed, he had saved a life. He had done what no human could. He had sensed the trauma, the hidden pain, and the buried past inside Elijah, and acted with a loyalty and intuition that no training could ever teach. Elijah began to heal after that day. He was given proper medical care, therapy, and most importantly, companionship. Bruno refused to leave his side. The department retired Bruno early and made him Elijah's official service dog. For the first time in decades, Elijah had a name again. A story. And a friend who had pulled him out of the shadows. He began speaking at schools, shelters, and police training centers, telling his story not to earn sympathy, but to raise awareness about trauma, hidden abuse, and the quiet power of animals who know more than we give them credit for. One day, during a seminar, a young cadet asked Elijah, what was it like to feel trapped for so long and then be saved by a dog? Elijah smiled gently, eyes misting over, as Bruno rested his head on his lap. He replied, it's like drowning in silence for years, and then suddenly, someone barks so loud the world has to notice. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and comment below how it made you feel. Your support helps us keep telling these powerful, true, inspired stories of courage, loyalty, and healing. Subscribe to Pawsitive Tales for more emotional journeys that remind us what truly matters. Special request, please tell us in the comments, do you believe dogs can sense the pain we hide? We read every comment and your thoughts mean the world to us.